Okay, so this is the video for episode 2 of Prehistoric Planet, which was deserts. The episode was really great, just like the first. A lot of cool, interesting species. When I saw the list of episodes, the title, you could pretty much assume a few of the species. Like how there was coast, you assume there was at least going to be some sort of marine reptile. And when I saw deserts, I was hoping that we were at least going to get, well, not at least, but I was hoping we would get Velociraptor and Tarbosaurus. And since we saw the trailer, I kind of assumed we were getting Tarbosaurus and Velociraptor. So I did kind of assume we were going to get Mongolia, and that ended up being true. So I was excited about that. But the first species we had was Dreadnoughtus, which was really cool. I think this might be the first time it's been in a documentary. I'm pretty sure it's actually going to be in the new Jurassic World movie, which is really cool that they're branching out that far. But I think it's the first time we've actually seen it in a documentary. I might be wrong about that, so I would love if you would comment it below if there is another documentary featuring Dreadnoughtus, because I would love to watch it. But it was really cool to see, since it's potentially the largest dinosaur ever, just because it's kind of debated between it and Argentinosaurus over which is the biggest right now, and obviously there's some other dinosaurs in contention, but that's the main two you really hear right now. But it was really cool seeing it. I loved the fight. It was so cool. It was very like elephant seal-esque. Like, have you seen elephant seals on nature documentaries where they fight, where the females will just all be laying and watching and the males fight? It was very elephant seal-esque. And I got this Saltosaurus figure out because it's the only, I think, Titanosaur figure I have. I wish I had an Argentinosaurus figure. It's one of my favorite dinosaurs that I don't have a figure of. And it would have worked a lot better for Dreadnoughtus, because I don't have a Dreadnoughtus figure. And this is really one of the only Titanosaur figures I have. And based off the trailer, like I said, I thought Tarbosaurus and Velociraptor were in it just because, I knew we were getting a desert episode, and they're two of the most popular desert dinosaurs, or dinosaurs that would live in deserts. So I was glad my prediction was right. And, like I said, the assumption was due to the fact that there was a Dromaeosaur and a Tyrannosaur in a desert, and pretty much connect the dots, Velociraptor and Tarbosaurus. But I was really glad to see these species, since Velociraptor is one of my favorite dinosaurs. Personally at least, and I love seeing it portrayed accurately instead of the Jurassic Park style. Like, here's the more accurate style, with the feathers and stuff, and here's the Jurassic Park style, scaly, no feathers, wrong wrist. Like, I like the Jurassic Park style as far as entertainment, but it is kind of annoying that that's what a bunch of people think that Velociraptor actually looks like just due to Jurassic Park. And then I was really glad we got Tarbosaurus. Tarbosaurus is a really popular dinosaur, but I actually don't have a figure of it. But I've just got a T-Rex because, Tarbosaurus was pretty much just the Mongolian T-Rex. So you can pretty much substitute Tarbosaurus in anything with a T-Rex figure. So it wasn't the end of the world there. But I'm a big fan of Tarbosaurus, so I was glad to see it. And the reason why I'm a big fan of Tarbosaurus, I'm a big fan of the non-T-Rex Tyrannosaurs. Like, obviously I'm a fan of T-Rex, but, I love seeing the other Tyrannosaurs in documentaries, like Tarbosaurus itself, Daspletosaurus, and Albertosaurus. So it was really cool to see Tarbosaurus in the documentary. This little raptor is acting a little annoying. I don't know how I got him to stay up so easy the first time, but and then we had Mononychus. I don't have a Mononychus figure either, so I just got this Catiopteryx, and the reason why I got it is just it's another feathered dinosaur that was very bird-like, and it was really cool seeing Mononychus, because the only other time I really remember seeing Mononychus, and I think it was Mononychus, it might have been a different species but closely related to Mononychus, but I think it was Mononychus in the Discovery documentary Dinosaur Planet, with the white Velociraptor as the main character. And I don't remember what killed it, but it died pretty much really fast to either an Oviraptor or a Velociraptor. But it was really cool seeing it actually live for a while in the documentary, and it was very woodpecker roadrunner mix-esque. I really loved the speculation of the beak That was a really cool feature. I really like that, especially the tongue. And I found out woodpeckers actually have that long tongue too, which makes a ton of sense. I actually do want to go back. Forgot to mention one thing about the Dreadnoughtus. The air sacs, which we saw in the trailer, was such a cool idea, and it makes sense. So I'm actually glad that they threw in that speculation, going along with the speculation of the long tongue on the Mononychus. And then probably my favorite scene in the episode was the watering hole scene. It was really awesome to see all the different species. Appeared to be, there was two different sauropods. There was the smaller species, and then the Mongolian Titan, which I think it's like Zuni Titanosaur. It's something like that. I know that's not exactly that, but it's the Mongolian Titan, which is a species of Titanosaur. And then there was the smaller sauropod, which might have been another Titanosaur, but a smaller species. Then there was the Hadrosaur. I saw some kind of Ankylosaur in the background. There was Mononychus, and it looked like there was a Therizinosaur, maybe something like Dinochirus that's not really a Therizinosaur, but I think it actually was a Therizinosaur, so I would assume Therizinosaurus itself, but it might have been a different species. And then it was really cool seeing the Tarbosaurus came, and I like how all the dinosaurs avoided it, like the same way like a group of herbivores would avoid something like a lion coming to the watering hole, especially in a situation like that where water's so not abundant, but you'd still want to be cautious of a top apex predator. And one other thing about the Tarbosaurus, I love the little scene of all the Tarbosaurs being lazy. It also reminded me of lines there where they just laid and, just laying out in the sun, but kind of avoiding the sun, where they're just basking, but just being lazy because, top predators today, lions, especially ones that lions hunting groups, they just lay around a lot because, they don't need to be hunting 24/7. So it makes a lot of sense, that a top apex predator that would hunt in packs or hunt in groups would be lazy. So it was cool seeing that, and it was funny seeing the Velociraptor. The Velociraptors were honestly, in my opinion, kind of chunky looking in the thing. At least in one frame, I remember that they looked kind of chunky, which I thought was kind of funny looking, but I liked it. I really love the look of the Velociraptor in the documentary, though. And like I said, it was really cool seeing all the herbivores, mainly the hadrosaurs, just straight up separate for the Tarbosaurus. And then there was the pterosaur scene, which was kind of funny. Seeing the pterosaur male that was like acting or looked like a female to be able to reproduce with the females without getting pushed away or killed by the larger male, and the larger male actually thinking it was a female was kind of funny. But that happens in nature today. I know in the last episode I spoke a little bit about fish species, but I know a lot about fish where I do fishing and stuff. So bluegill, which are a species of sunfish that are freshwater, obviously, also do this, where there's some of the males that appear like females, and that's so they can reproduce with females without getting pushed away by the other males. So it was cool seeing that. And it was cool, like seeing the sexual dimorphism in the species, because the males were way big, or at least the males that looked like males were way bigger than the females. And then there was the last hadrosaur species, and I believe this was the South American one. Maybe it was South African, but I know the first hadrosaur species was obviously the one that lived in Mongolia with Tarbosaurus. And it was cool seeing it like migrating the desert. Really cool seeing how it would like lick the mist off its body. Some really cool ideas there. And the MVP for me, this one was really tough. Like the last episode, I had a tie because it was so tough between two dinosaurs. Two prehistoric animals, because I gave it half to Mosasaurus and half to T-Rex. But I ended up going with Tarbosaurus. I really love the depiction of Tarbosaurus in here. Like I said, I loved how all the dinosaurs separated for it. Like the ankylosaurs, you didn't really see them a ton. You could barely see them in the back, but mainly the hadrosaurs, all the different herbivores just separated. But it was mainly the hadrosaurs because they were in that area that the Tarbosaurus came through. But it was really cool seeing all of them separate, and then seeing them just be like lazy top predators, which makes sense, like a lion. And I love the coloring. I like the coloring on the Tarbosaurus way better than the T-Rex. I love that little spots that they gave them, very big cat-like. And it makes sense that a large apex predator from back then would be similar to large apex predators now, behaving similar to something like a lion while having spots like a leopard, but obviously the spots, kind of speculation, but I like the spots a lot on the Tarbosaurus. And you could see some small feathers on it, but they weren't super apparent, kind of like the T-Rex, the adult T-Rex, which makes sense because, Tarbosaurus would pretty much be like almost an exact replica, but of Mongolia for T-Rex. And obviously there's some differences, like, the color would be different, and T-Rex itself was a little larger, but very similar animals. And one awesome thing on these episodes that I will mention is that they didn't go all popular prehistoric animals. Like, there's been at least a few species that I've not known a ton about or just heard very little about. And they did a lot of cool, interesting pterosaur species that I didn't know a ton about. So that was really cool, seeing some cool, interesting pterosaurs. But also they did some cool mixes of some popular prehistoric animal species like Velociraptor and T-Rex. And, T-Rex was obviously in the last episode, but, seeing some cooler, popular species that are, pretty high in the public domain that are very popular. But it was also cool seeing some really less popular, less known about species featured in the documentary. And, like, due to this, a bunch of these figures are not the actual species that were present. Like, Saltosaurus was not in this episode, but, we did have a Titanosaur. Tarbosaurus is a really popular dinosaur. I just don't happen to have a figure of it. That is a figure I will be hunting down probably pretty soon. And then, what was I saying? But like I said, with so many of the less popular species being featured in this documentary, that, like, obviously I had to use some different species for this video. And now I'm going to go quickly over all the figures featured in this video. So if you're wanting to look for these figures, here they are. So these two are both Papo. I'll get them out of the way first. This is the Papo Velociraptor. This one I think has went through a couple different color variations. I believe this is like a Jurassic Park 3 style. That's one thing with Papo. Papo is very Jurassic Park style. If there's a Jurassic Park style version of that dinosaur before Papo makes it, it'll probably look almost exactly like that. Then here's the Ankylosaur. Really like this one. It's way more accurate than that one. And then these three little guys, this Velociraptor, this Cattyopteryx, this Therizinosaur. Let me look at what the species is really quick. It is a Epiosde. I think it's a Therizinosaur. Maybe it's actually like a Gallimimus type species like Dinochirus, but I believe it's a Therizinosaur. But I'm really excited for Dinochirus. I thought it might end up being in this episode, but just because, it's Mongolia or the desert where it could have been close to, but I'm glad that they saved it just for the water episode. So those three are in the Safari Limited Feathered Dinosaur tube. And then this is either Hipparchosaurus or... Yeah, this is Hipparchosaurus. This is the baby one. There is an adult version of this one, but this is just the regular Safari Limited brand. And then this is Titanosaurus. Not Titanosaurus. This is Saltosaurus. This is the Carnegie one. This one I got from eBay, and it wasn't in the best of shape whenever I got it, but still, really like this figure. Glad to finally have it in the collection. And then this is the Safari Limited Carnegie T-Rex. There's been a couple Carnegie T-Rexes. This is one that I have that I really like. And then this is the Schleich or Skletch. I don't know what the exact... I used to always say Skletch, but I think it's actually Schleich. This is an Anguira. I think the pterosaur in this episode was some kind of Nyctosaurus, though, but I don't have a Nyctosaur, so I just got a whatever pterosaur that I haven't done in a video yet. But like I said, the second episode was great, and the documentary continues to live up to all the hype and expectations I had for it. And just like I said in the first episode, does not feel like a dinosaur documentary. It feels like just watching somebody actually going out and recording it, and it doesn't feel like it's animatronics or CGI. So, really loving this. And I'm going to make, I guess, 3 more videos for the series. I made a video talking about how I was excited for the series before the episodes came out. And then I'm going to make a video for each episode, and then maybe I'll have another video just for the conclusion of the series. But so far, so good. Loving the documentary, and I guess you'll see me again pretty soon for episode 3. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'm out.